Well, everybody, I am very happy to bring us a another. This is more of a surprise interview. This was very last minute. I'm very glad that we were able to put this together. But we have a very special guest coming to us, and he's got a lot to introduce us for next month. But I'm gonna let him do that. So, Tracy, would you give us your introduction, who you are, and kind of a bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Tracy Click. I own Below the Grade Scuba, which is a charter boat on Lakes Huron, Superior, and Michigan. I teach technical scuba diving as well in my free time, and I'm also the director of the Great Lakes Shipwreck Festival, which is coming up February 28th this year. It's a Saturday in Livonia.
Oh, is this remind me? This is the 44th. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, this is the 44th year. We missed 2021. We had to cancel it. 2020, we had our show. We sneaked in the end of February, and then about a week later, the world shut down. But we were still shut down in 2021, so we've only ever missed one.
So these events now, how awesome are these events? Because we've got speakers, we've got like what are some things we can look forward to with this?
So this year's kind of special. We had a great year as far as people finding new shipwrecks. Normally, it's talks about various shipwrecks, diving them, pictures, video, things like that. But this year, we've got four presenters that are all presenting on new wrecks found this year. Um, we kind of thought shipwreck hunting was kind of tapering off, that we'd found most everything, but with the technology now, they're finding stuff all the time. So to have four new wrecks found in the Great Lakes in 1 year is pretty freaking amazing. Dave Trotter and his crew are presenting on one, which is the last wreck missing from the Great Storm in 1913. And that's finally been located. Dave has been looking for that for the last 50 years, and he finally found it.
The Carruthers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yep, the James Carruthers. It's kind of off of Harbor Beach is where they wound up finding it.
Now, were you with him when they found it, or
Nope,
oh,
no, I'm not really into the searching for it. I like diving them. I like going and seeing them. Some guys, their whole hobby is just looking for them and finding them. Trotter used to be a diver, but he hasn't dove in probably 20 years. He just loves finding them and being the guy that finds them. So he's one of those that goes and looks for them. I just like to be the guy that gets a call and says, "Hey, we found this," and I get to go dive it and take people there and let other people experience it.
what? Well, actually, before I get, because I can get carried away with all these what ifs for dives. So, um, again, what? So next, February 28th, correct, will be the
Yep.
Great Lakes, the 44th Great Lakes Shipwreck Festival in Livonia, Michigan, correct?
Yep. Yeah. This year we've moved venues. This year we're not at the Embassy Suites anymore. We've moved over to the Detroit Marriott Livonia.
Okay. And once more, what's available for people to come and see, and like maybe the times and whatnot that we can look for.
So doors open at 8 a.m. Show starts at 9. So there's vendor booths and tables. Got several different presenters that'll just have booths, some local shops. Some of the guys that are doing presentations will have books for sale. And NOAA's coming down. They have a booth, the state police dive team, Great Lakes Search and Recovery, just a lot of water related booths and Great Lakes related booths. And then we have 12 different presenters throughout the day doing approximately 1 hour presentations. And that goes until hopefully we wrap up around 5. The guys that tend to run long got put at the end of the day. So I'm guessing probably 5:15, 5:30 when it'll all wrap up.
Is that why you
So
you put Rick right at the beginning?
Rick has been one of our biggest supporters for, Well, since before I took over running the show, I mean, when I used to go to the show long before I ran it, Rick has always been, I mean, one of the biggest promoters of all things Great Lakes. And he is presented with us every year without fail. He brings in a big crowd. So I usually put him first thing in the morning to get people motivated to show up on time and get the show started.
Yeah. He's phenomenal. I love teasing him, so that's why I had to, I had to
Yep.
ask already.
Rick
Great.
is great to work with.
He's got one of a kind sense of humor, and I love that, so
Yep.
awesome. Well, guys, this is, I'm gonna be there. I'm really looking forward to this, Tracy. It'll be me and my dad coming, so cannot wait to, I think this will be our first um visiting this, so I am beyond excited, guys. I would highly recommend and encourage you guys if you have the means. Where oh yeah, where so the website is where people can get tickets, is that correct? Just the website, or
Yes.
okay.
Yep. Great Lake Shipwreck Festival.org has tickets. They're discounted there. We sell them at the door for 45 or they're 40 online.
Okay.
So either way you want to go, but they are a little bit, they do save you a little bit of money if you go to the website and get them online.
Well, I will make sure to put in the description, guys. I will put the link to the website for you guys to get that in the video. So check that out in the description.
Yep. And Great Lake Shipwreck Festival has a Facebook page. That's usually what I keep updated with. Right now, I've been going through introducing all the different presenters that will be presenting on that Saturday. So that I usually keep that updated. The website is maintained by a different guy and it gets updated when he gets time to update it. So
Can't be everywhere all at once now, can we?
no, no, you can't.
Yeah. Um, Before we change subjects, has there been like in the past festivals, has there been any like really notable ones, or like, oh, the this year this that one time was a really great year, or anything interesting happen?
I'd say our best attendance year was when we had Becky Schott come up and do a presentation with a lot of her photography from Great Lakes diving. That one drew the biggest crowd I think I've ever had, but mostly just the various as they found new wrecks over the years. That's what I enjoy is, now you're seeing something that no one has seen yet. Because a lot of times these pictures, if you weren't on the exploration crew, a lot of times you don't even know that it has been found. And now you're seeing footage, possibly the only footage there'll ever be, depending on who found it, if they're going to release the numbers, or at least it's the first time you'll ever see it.
Right. Oh yeah, no, and when the Carruthers, that was incredible to see it because that's been down there what 100 years now at this point about.
Yeah, yeah, 1913, so 115 years now. It's been a while. Um, but yeah, that one, unfortunately, when he found it, it's upside down. So
Yeah,
not great for shipwreck diving, but pretty awesome for history to round out. We found the final one.
that's
So
right. Yeah, that and everybody on my channel knows the 1913 very well, so that they know the significance behind that. Absolutely.
yep.
What are some of your favorite, so now before we started the interview, you were telling me you enjoy the diving aspect, not so much the searching.
Yep. Yeah. So I know favorite wreck in the Great Lakes would be probably the Judge Hart
Okay.
up in northern Lake Superior. It's over near the Ganilda, so it kind of gets when you're up diving the Ganilda, that's what you go up there for. And then, as it turns out, in my opinion, the Judge Hart is way better than the Ganilda. Um, the Kamloops, that poster hanging right behind you, that is an
Yeah.
excellent wreck, just an amazing wreck.
Are you telling me you've dove on the Kamloops, Tracy?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, man, I love meeting new people. I had Ken on a while ago, and Ken was telling me his
Okay.
experience. So
Ken Merriman is another. I wish that I could get him to come present every year, but he's one that he doesn't think if he didn't find anything new, he doesn't want to come present. He doesn't think people will want to listen to him. And it's like people would sign up to just listen to you talk
he's too
all day.
modest. He's
Like
way
you
too
don't need to
modest.
do anything. Just show up and do a Q and A and people would come and attend in droves. But he doesn't realize what he has to offer, I think.
His interview was I loved every second of it. I was, being able to ask somebody, "What did you see? What it was like?" I mean, because unless I get certified to do like, I'm never gonna be able to go and do this, I get to live it through you guys, and I gotta
Yep.
pick your brain. So when did you dive on the Kamloops then?
So probably the last 10 years, I go up to Isle Royal every other year. So it gets dove whenever we're up there.
Okay. Could you, tell me, like, what's the state of it right now?
Unchanged since it's sinking. That is the beauty of Lake Superior is we don't have zebra mussels. Um, it has some rusticles that they look like icicles, but just made out of rust. But it's in a pretty amazing state of preservation. I mean, the wreck's still painted. It's still in color. It's not gray scaled out like it tends to happen in a lot of the other lakes. It's bright red when you get down there, and the wheel is the first thing you see.
Now that has
And the
a
wheel on that wreck is, I bet it's 8 foot diameter.
it's got a
Just a
chain on it too,
massive.
correct?
Yeah, that was Ken. Ken put the bright orange chain on it when he found it because that was back before there were any laws protecting it. And he was really worried that somebody was going to steal that wheel because luckily the depth kind of protects it as well. There's just not that many people are diving on it because it is one of the deeper ones up there and it's cold. And you don't want to spend that steering shaft's probably 4 inches in diameter. So you're going to spend hours down there with a hacksaw if you wanted to take it. So the depth and the cold have protected it pretty well from most people taking things.
Okay, and that so does that go for the interior as well? Is there still, like, plates and stuff and where
Everything is still, all the shoes, the lifesavers, it's all still there. The lifesavers are really kind of the coolest thing because it was a package freighter, so just general merchandise, and it was hauling crates of lifesavers. Well, the candy is all melted away over the years from the water, but the wrappers are still intact in the little rolls, in the boxes, just rows and rows of lifesavers. And a lot of shoes, just it was hauling a lot of things, and it's all there. It's perfectly intact.
um, what do you think may have caused her sinking? And your best guess, I guess, to say from what you
My guess is just ice buildup. Um, yeah, lost steer or probably lost stability. I don't know. I don't remember if that one hit a rock and sank, if it lost steering and hit a rock, or if that one just overturned. Which this it sank late season, so it very well could have just been ice buildup and flipping, or that one might have hit a reef. That would be a question for Ken.
Mm,
Ken is the maritime historian, history buff who spends his lifetime figuring out why it went down. I just like to go down and look at it and swim around.
did you, Ken noted he did see remains. Did you see remains too down there as
There,
well?
there are there are remains on it. Really, just one that's visible. I don't know of any other remains. There is one of the engineers is still in the engine room,
Right.
and he is saponified, so he will be there forever. But saponification does happen in Lake Superior. It's not common. Most of the wrecks don't have any remains left, but he was kind of protected inside of the engine room, so not a lot of current to break him up. And now that he's completely saponified, he'll just be there forever.
Yeah, because the only reason I bring that up is because from my memory, that 9 made it to the island, and then I believe 13 went down with the Kamloops too. So
Yep. Yeah, but the remains will normally break up and float away or fish and various wildlife. But where he is in the engine room, it's in a closed in space. Like
yeah,
it would be, you're not going to go in there and mess with him. He's back in an engine room under a catwalk. there were some remains on a couple other wrecks found up there in Isle Royale, and the ones that were accessible were taken off the wreck and buried somewhere years ago, just to make sure that nobody ever would mess with them for
Yeah.
some reason.
Did you have you been to the Emperor?
Yep, yeah, the
How was
Emperor's another one.
okay? Because yeah,
Um,
I'm catching myself because I could talk about the Kamloops all night, so I want to make sure I give all these other wrecks their due talking to as well.
yeah, I can't remember. Let's see, the Emperor. I think that's the one with the half wheel all the way at the bottom. That might be the Congdon Cern. They all kind of run together to me up there, but there are just a bunch of wrecks all right there together in Isle Royale, and all of them are excellent.
The Judge Hart you had mentioned earlier, how was that one? How deep is that one as well?
The Judge Hart, you're about 220 to the bottom. So the Judge Hart, it's a wooden, it's a steel freighter, but it's an early steel freighter. It's a wooden pilot house. It's a wooden stern house. The engine room, everything is wood. It's painted still. The pilot, and it's perfectly upright on the bottom. So the pilot house still has the map desk in there with a radio sitting on it, with a pair of binoculars sitting on the desk. Just, it is as perfect could get, and it's just beautiful. I like freighters. I mean, we went up there to dive the Ganilda, and the Ganilda is a beautiful wreck. You know, it was a couple hundred or 150-foot yacht. It's just beautiful with the gold inlays, but I like freighters, and I got to the Judge Hart, and it's just perfect in every way. I could spend weeks diving that wreck, but unfortunately, it is also cold and deep, and you can only spend so much time before you freeze.
Have you dove any whalebacks?
I think I've dove all of the whalebacks that are known.
Okay.
Um, no, there is one in Duluth that I have not dove, but I've dove the one in Superior. I've dove the Sagamore several times. We go out to the Clifton pretty regularly and dive that. So yeah, I've done. I think there is one in Duluth. Somebody told me, but I have not been on that one.
That might be the
But
Thomas Wilson, if I remember correctly.
it sounds right, but for some reason I didn't think Wilson was right. But
Or
it could be.
there's a few. It might be 1112 or barge number. There's different numbered ones too. Yeah.
The Clifton is a very nice one because it is pretty much intact. It still looks like a whaleback, and it is really nice with all the cargo. That's a great wreck. The Sagamore, the Sagamore is pretty broken up, but it still looks like a whaleback,
Yeah.
and it's kind of an exciting dive because it's in maybe 50 feet of water right in the exit of the Sioux Locks into Lake Superior. So every freighter coming out of the locks runs directly over the top of it. They're drafting about 30 feet. The wreck has about 20 feet of relief. So when the prop blades on the freighter pass over the top, they're only about 6 feet off the top of the wreck. So when you're inside of it diving, the whole thing just starts shaking. And if you look up, there's a freighter passing directly over the top of you while you're
Wow.
diving. So it's kind of neat just because of what it is and where it is, but it is pretty broken up. It's in two distinct pieces, and the stern house is pretty collapsed. But you can tell exactly what it is as soon as you get down there. I mean, it still looks like a whaleback. It's just pieces of a whaleback.
You get chills every time you see the wreck approaching you every time, and that never gets old.
Yes. That never gets old. When you come down and it just kind of appears out of the haze, that's what makes it awesome.
Any worthwhile stories for anybody to hear that like, oh well, this is one they should hear because
No, not really. I try and limit the dives that have good stories, and the ones that do, I probably shouldn't tell, or I'm sure the other people involved would definitely
okay,
appreciate me not telling.
fair enough, fair enough. I won't push on that. Well, then another question. So, how would you say the state of the wrecks are compared to Superior being like the pristine place to, keep them preserved compared to Michigan or Huron or Erie? What would you say like the other lakes, states of those wrecks are? And then the second part to that is maybe how long do you think we got them for? Because I just asked Ross that question last.
So, so in all the other lakes, they are deteriorating at a much increased pace. Um, 20 years ago, no, 30 years ago, they were still perfectly intact, just like Superior. Everything was perfect. Now, as the zebra mussels have come in and the quagga mussels, the water is cleared up, and it is amazing to dive them now because it's not uncommon to have 100 foot of visibility. But you also now have 6, 8, 10 inches of zebra mussels on top of the wrecks. So all of the finer little details are gone. You see lumps on the deck. You don't see bottles and pots and windlasses. Um, and the weight of the mussels on the wooden wrecks is starting to collapse the wrecks. We are starting to see cabin roofs caving in, and it's the sheer weight of there's a foot of mussels on top of these things. So they are deteriorating at a rapid rate. It's I've noticed it in the last 10 years that every year when I go out, something is a little bit different. And I think it mostly stems from the weight, not the age, because most of the wrecks we're diving have been there 100 or 200 years. And 30 years ago, they were perfectly intact. So I don't think it's an age thing of, oh, it's just its time. I think it's the weight of the muscles is starting to just crush the stuff.
Oh, that's very disappointing.
It is. I mean, they are still amazing and awesome, and I would recommend everybody go see them. But it isn't the same as it used to be. But the visibility is so much better that it's a trade off. I mean, they used to be perfect, but you couldn't see them. Now they're not perfect, but you can. So I don't know what's the right answer, but for the moment, I really enjoy having 100 foot of visibility in the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Superior really hasn't changed. Superior used to have the best visibility out of all the lakes because it had 30, 40 foot of viz, and the other lakes had 5. And now the other lakes have 100, and Superior still has 30 or 40. So now it seems bad when you're up there, but it isn't. It's the same as it's always been. And the wrecks make up for the lower viz than Michigan and Huron.
Mm. Um, have you been to the Bradley or the Morrell at all?
I go to the Morrell a lot.
Okay.
I probably got 20 or 30 dives on the Morrell.
Okay.
I have never dove the Bradley. I have a charter going to it this summer. I have a group going out to the Bradley for a week, but I've never dove it. It's a deep one. It's a really deep one, and I probably won't. Um, it it's not that I'm not interested, it's that I'm not interested enough for as deep as it is. That is a huge dive. And the deeper they are, the more things can go wrong. And to me, it isn't worth it at that depth. But there's a lot of people that disagree. And, I have a whole boat full of people that disagree going out to it this summer. So
Well
it
then,
doesn't get dove very often just because of the depth.
okay. Well then, I think you might be the first person I've had on that for the Morel. Would you care to share anything on the Morel? I that's another very popular.
So
So
I mean, obviously, you're familiar with it. It's in two pieces and 5 miles apart. The bow section is the iconic steel shipwreck. Kind of like the Windiet is when people think of a wooden shipwreck, what they're picturing in their mind is the Windiet. It's just perfectly upright on the bottom with mast standing rigging on it. The Morrell is that, but it's steel freighter. Like it is upright, It is standing proud. It's got, let's see, it's got 70 feet of relief off the bottom. Actually, more than that. You hit the mast at 100 feet, and it's over 200 when you hit the mud. That wreck is huge, and it is just kind of awe inspiring. If you drop down in front of it and just turn around and look back, it looks like it's sailing on the bottom because it is just, I don't know how to describe it. If you haven't seen pictures of it from the front, it's just kind of amazing. It's a huge wreck. You don't realize, so you can't normally at those depths, it's kind of dark. So you can't really see more than maybe 60, 70 feet. So if you're trying to swim back to the break, you don't realize that it's 300, 400 feet away. Like it's just a long swim, and the break is disappointing. Like you're expecting something like the ship was ripped in half, and you get back there and it's just gone. Like it's just the it's not all torn up like you would expect it to be. It's just gone. Um, and so the stern of it is even deeper. The stern has probably the best engine room I've ever dove in the Great Lakes. Like it is just massive. It's huge. Everything's in it. Right up to the baby food jars of nuts and bolts screwed to the workbench, like your grandpa probably had out in the garage. That's all there. The light bulbs are in the fixtures. There's ladders hanging in there. It's just, it was a workshop, and it was a workshop till the second it went under the water, and it's perfectly preserved. The zebra mussels don't tend to build up inside because there's no water exchange in there. They're filter feeders, so they're going to grow wherever water's passing over. So once you drop into that engine room, it's back to how it used to be, painted walls and signs that you can read, and it is a phenomenal dive. It is on the deeper side, but it's a diveable depth for people that really want to go do it. It's in the range that I consider relatively safe, but everybody has a different threshold of what depths they're comfortable with. Normal recreational diving only goes to 130 feet. So that puts both ends of the Morrell pretty far out of reach for a normal recreational diver, but they're in the range of most tech divers will dive them, and it's one of my most popular wrecks that I run charters out to.
Um, so amazing. I love that. That's incredible, and to hear especially that the inside you say is just as it was, you know, there's largely, um, untouched, and so how was that seeing just the sheared off end of the
Yeah, I remember the first time I swam all the way back there, like this is going to be amazing. And you get back there, and it's like, oh, it just cracked and broke in half. I mean, it is very neat how it did, but it's just gone. It doesn't look like a wreck. It's not all twisted metal. It's just missing.
Wow.
And 5 miles away, you'll find the other end of it.
Isn't that
Um,
incredible that it kept going and going like that before it finally went under?
yeah. Did you ever meet Dennis when he was still alive? So
No,
Dennis
but
Hale, so he was the only survivor of the Morrell wreck, and he was a great guy. He used to come to our festival every year and talk, and he usually'd have a little booth to sell his books, and just a very interesting guy to listen to and hear his stories. And he had a lot of them. He was definitely a colorful character,
was he?
but yeah, but yeah, his story of when it happened is just kind of insane. I know it was all documented in his book. I don't know if it was ever on video anywhere, but I think his book is unfortunately out of print these days. I know I have a couple copies here, but it doesn't. It's a neat book. It was called Soul Survivor.
That's right, yep.
Yeah,
Man, if, you know, somebody were to make like a movie of one of these wrecks, the Morale, you know, or the Bradley, the
yeah,
obviously the Fitz or whatever. I even think the best movie, in my opinion, the 1913 storm would be a perfect movie, with the number
Yeah.
that were lost, you know.
There was just so much that they could keep making episodes about. Yeah, it would be an amazing miniseries, but